people who come to M&A to do an installation, let's say, is that they immediately jump from the total fantasy to something that's totally down to earth and totally we've seen a million times. There's an experience that everybody seems to have, which is what we try to combat specifically, which is the sort of like that sort of gray area, that intermediary moment when you go from having pure inspiration to having a practical plan. That area is where we always try to drill the hardest. But also, taking note of all the materials you experience as you're going through your day-to-day life, especially if you wind up going to some manufactory and there's interesting waste materials, you want to photograph it and steal some if you possibly can. I don't know if you have looked around our back of our space ever, but not only is there a room of trash, but then there's like a lot
I call it surplus.
A lot of, there's actually like tons of random waste material that's just, the byproduct of packaging that we've gotten or found in other trash cans, and there's shelves full of little knickknacks and doohickeys and stuff that we couldn't possibly perceive the use of, but they're so unique and they are, they're a generator of inspiration.
Luckily, the Los Angeles Arboretum came to our rescue and donated. They wanted to cull a lot of bamboo of the same species, and so they kind of came to our rescue. And we went there. Oliver and the whole team went there and harvested a bunch of bamboo. Rented these giant trucks and brought it all back here, and we stacked it against the building. And it was taller than the building. It was amazing.
Bruce, the engineer on the project, really also figured out a great way to keep the entire thing as bamboo feeling as possible, and it really had a personality, I think, that stood very well against the rest of the component, which was like totally like rainwater harvested off the roof pool of water that had computer controlled jets inside of it. It was aesthetically and kind of socially very complex, and it wound up being that making the bamboo into something so strong as an icon was really successful as well. I think if it had been something like, if we had made it out of plastic, for instance, it would have probably overwhelmed the space and kind of changed the entire meaning of it. I think making it out of bamboo was also kind of a good choice because it felt like they were working together and they both had like a lot of strength. Artists that we react to the most are artists the artists who we react to the most for their material selections are the artists who play off of that sort of level of thought, which is how to manipulate the senses and turn something.
Jaime Luis Ortiz is an artist in Mexico who I hope we get to interview for the series, and his work is fascinating because he goes to maquiladores and the sort of the junk yards next to them and paws through, much to the expense of his health. Actually, he's thinking about stopping doing this because he comes into contact with so much really toxic materials, and finds things of interest and drags them back to his studio, and his work's just so inspiring because he does repurpose so many different types of materials, and materials you wouldn't even think existed in vast quantities, like gold foil, but not like the gold foil stickers you showed me, but like actual gold that's used to imprint, and give the emboss the initials on someone's briefcase. So they'll do that over and over again, different initials, but the sheet, most of the gold is still on it, but they throw it away. And so he's been able to find all these things like that and use them in interesting ways. And that's what drives Tara Donovan's decisions too, I believe, is that she can buy huge quantities of things like styrofoam cups or straws, and they're clean and it's prepackaged and not expensive, and there's a real issue in our culture with like cleanliness and with things being uniform. And And so both of these different artists have solved this problem.
The issue becomes one of the sort of mystical qualities of seeing 1,000 things that have a consistency to them, but then there's like the reflection or the shadow or the translucency that creates some kind of other pattern that you wouldn't see normally unless you took all these materials and put them in a very specific configuration. These are sort of like hybrid realities that come about from this type of